and I'm just going to share my screen. So hopefully you should see now Core Strand 1 debate around inclusion in education. So our session is going to be looking at highlighting the benefits of inclusion and maybe unpicking some of those challenges that we've experienced as well. So Core Strand 1, if you've had a chance to have a little read through of the literature we've got on there and some of the key points as well, you'll notice that the key aims are here as well. If you haven't maybe got access to Purple Pad just yet, please don't worry, because anything that we discussed today, you can bring your personal and professional experiences that you've had anyway, but following today, you can always go back in when you've got access to sort of read retrospectively, and you'll have access to these recordings as well, so you could always sort of triangulate there as well. And obviously then, with any of the content that we discussed today, if you've got any questions about anything that we've discussed at all, you can always go back to your lecturer and your home university then to unpick it a little bit more, and maybe those optional sessions as well. But these will be the sort of key principles of our discussions today. So we're going to have a little look at some of the key theories, and one of the first things we're going to do is talk about definitions of inclusion. So what are our definitions of inclusion? What are your settings definitions of inclusion? You know, what are those key principles or factors that come up when we're talking about inclusion, you know, those key words, those key driving forces behind our inclusive practice. We're going to have a little look at some policies and legislation, and in particular we're going to have a little look at Curriculum for Wales and have a discussion around teacher agency and teacher experiences as well. Towards the end of the session then we'll discuss benefits and maybe some challenges that we've encountered or experienced or read about maybe in some literature around inclusion as well, and we'll have a little look at how we approach inclusion within our settings as well. And obviously you can see how this ties in really nicely to our assignment, you know, giving an overview of how inclusion relates to policies, strategies we've tried, challenges we've encountered, and the benefits that we've seen as well. So that's the plan for this morning. This session in particular is structured quite nicely. So we've got those breakout sessions that we talked about just now. So how it's going to work is I'll set you off into breakout rooms, and if you can just be patient for a minute or two, because sometimes the breakout rooms like to warm up a little bit, but you should be able then to go into your breakout room. As far as I'm aware, your breakout room stays the same all day. So those people that you're discussing with, those other professionals, you'll be with all day in any of the breakout rooms. Like we said this morning, feedback from previous cohorts has been that it's been really helpful to just talk to other people, other professionals who are maybe in different settings as well, to have those different perspectives, almost like a little professional community that you're in today. When you go off into your breakout rooms, nothing is recorded. Okay, so those conversations are yours. We don't see those discussions. When I bring you back into this main room, what I'll do is I'll probably ask a few people just to share back on behalf of the group. So I might say, you know, somebody from group 1, you know, could you maybe give us some key points you were talking about? We've got quite a lot of people on the call today, so I won't be able to do that for every group, for every activity, but hopefully every group will have a chance to feedback. When you come back into that main room, and I'm asking you to feedback, they aren't recorded either. So I'll only start recording then when the PowerPoint resumes, so we can have a discussion together. In terms of the asynchronous content, so if you've had a little look at Purple Pad, you should see these sort of key headings reflected there. So definitions of inclusion, principles, you know, key legislation, social and medical model of need, and they are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So it does link very closely to that literature that you will have seen on Purple Pad. And again, if you haven't seen it, don't worry, because you can always go back in, and we're going to give you some literature examples today as well. So the first activity that we'd like you to do is to have a little discussion in your breakout rooms around your professional and personal definitions of inclusion. So almost comparing and discussing, you know, are there similarities? Are there differences? And just discussing what are those key factors, those key principles that really drive forward that inclusive practice. You know, you might notice there are some maybe similarities in the key words that are being used, approaches, strategies, that kind of thing. So the key questions, and I'll put these in your breakout room chats as well, so that you've got them to refer back to, just to get you started on those discussions. What do your definitions and principles have in common? and how do they differ? If they do differ, how so? So if you can, identify somebody in your group to maybe populate the Padlet. And then when we come back into the main room, I'll pull that Padlet up so we can really have a little look together. And then maybe nominate somebody who could be the speaker for your group as well, just in case your group is chosen to feedback as well. So what are your definitions? What do they have in common? And maybe what are some differences that you've experienced in your discussions as well? So I'll give you 10 minutes. When the 10 minutes is up, I'll give you like a 1 minute warning, and then you'll be pulled then straight back into this main room so that we can unpick a little bit further. So I'll stop sharing just for a second. I will stop recording.